Timeshare ownership, the pros and cons of timeshares. Brought to you by the WeOwnTimeshares.com team. The pros and cons of purchasing a timeshare should always be considered in a rational way before making a decision. It is important to consider your choice of lifestyle as well as your financial condition and give weight to the advantages and disadvantages of your choice. For instance, if you are quite wealthy, the purchase price will be easier to pay if it represents just a small amount of your savings. The cost of your timeshare will also affect how you evaluate the pros and cons of other aspects of the investment. In either case, it is always wise to research your decision thoroughly. Let us discuss some of the pros first. To begin with, timeshare properties are more economical compared to buying a piece of real estate. Compare this: buying a piece of property for $200,000 or a timeshare, which may only cost you $10,000 plus an annual maintenance fee of $500 per year for the rest of your life. If we assume the lifetime period of 30 years, the calculation would be $10,000 plus $500 times 30 years, which gives a total of $25,000. When you compare this amount to the cost of buying a piece of real estate property, you end up saving $175,000. Do you really want to spend all that extra money on a piece of property that you may only use a couple times a year? Let's compare this with the cost of a hotel. Suppose you spend $1,200 every year on a hotel. How much is that over 30 years? Well, $1,200 over 30 years is $36,000. And that's still $12,000 more than the $25,000 you would be paying over 30 years to own your timeshare. Also, timeshares generally offer you a significantly more comfortable stay and can accommodate a larger family. Timeshare condos are generally much larger than standard hotel rooms and can sleep 6 to 10 people in separate rooms. Most come with full kitchens, living areas, and multiple bathrooms. This provides a much more comfortable, home-style vacationing experience. If you have a timeshare, you don't have to worry about the upkeep or maintenance of owning a condo, as it is taken care of by the developer. Also, if you buy your own vacation home, you're going to have to do all the maintenance yourself. A more subtle advantage to owning a timeshare property is that it almost forces you to think about taking a vacation each and every year. Since you own the property, you want to take full advantage of using it when you can. It also takes the pain out of planning a vacation since you know where you are going and when. Timeshare properties that are part of an exchange network have an added benefit of being extremely flexible. An exchange network such as RCI or Interval International will allow you to exchange your property for the use of another owner's property. Through the use of an exchange network, you could stay at different properties during different weeks of each year. Of course, there are some disadvantages to timeshares. One major disadvantage is the recent prevalence of scams and cases of fraud within the timeshare industry. Many people also find themselves unwittingly lured into sales presentations after receiving a free gift from the resort. Some timeshare presentations have been marred with high-pressure sales techniques that put prospective customers in a tough situation where they feel like they can't say no. Always be mindful of these high-pressure sales techniques before attending any sales presentation. If possible, research the timeshare company thoroughly beforehand and know their reputation. Not only do you have to pay the annual maintenance fee for your timeshare, but you also have to pay a large deposit up front. Typically, this is around 10%. So this means that some of that money will be tied up in your property, but you also have to consider that if you're financing the purchase, you will be paying interest on the loan as well. This isn't a whole lot different than buying a regular vacation home, but with so smaller amounts. Compare $10,000 and a 10% down payment to $200,000 and a 10% down payment. Now let's consider the appreciation of the timeshare property. Well, the fact of the matter is timeshares don't typically appreciate that much, if at all. Naturally, this is a major disadvantage. You must realize that there is a good chance that the timeshare will be worth less when you go to sell it, and selling the property can be difficult. Last but not least, timeshares may not be flexible enough for you to use it every year at a specific time. Although some timeshare companies offer flex weeks and there's a lot of exchange possibilities, these are first come, first serve, and you may not be guaranteed to get the week that you want. You also want to consider whether you're buying a flex week or a fixed week when you make your purchase. I hope considering the pros and cons of timeshares helps you. And if you're interested in learning more about timeshares, a great place to learn about them is in a timeshare forum. WeOwnTimeshares.com is a social network full of timeshare information, and it has a great forum too. It is free and simple to join this new timeshare social network, and you can set up your profile in minutes. Share information and reviews of different timeshare properties, and start asking questions in the forum today. We'll see you there.